Hello fellow orchid lovers, it's Danielle here with a Carecollab video for my Cattleya purpurata. So if you tuned into my last Carecollab, I actually potted the orchid up, and one of my subscribers was kind enough to mention that the media that I had purchased did not seem to be an inert media, and they were indeed correct. It had a very high ppm. I soaked it, and so anyways, long story short, I quickly switched the orchid over to just glass beads. I didn't have enough of them really to pot it up all the way to the top of the container, which I'll show you in a little bit. Was actually, it's unfortunate because it is now maxed out as far as its growth pattern is concerned. But she is growing really well. She did lose a few roots because of the media that I had planted her in. A few of those roots are no longer really great roots. But as you can see, her latest growth has grown quite a few new roots, and so she is hydrating really well. It's still a relatively young plant. This is a variety striata, which you'll remember if you watched my last video. But I'm not expecting her to bloom for a few years because she is a relatively young plant. Her canes are, her pseudobulbs are getting bigger, marginally bigger every time. This is her newest. But as you can see, she does have a new, well, maybe you can't because I don't have it with the correct angle. There you go. So as you can see, she is forming a new growth, but it is smashed up against the side of the container. So I'm going to have to do something about that. My plan is just to soak her so that her roots get a little more flexible, and I can kind of just pull her up in the pot so that her new growth can have some room. I'm hoping that's not going to upset the new roots and she dumped them, because like you can see here, some of her older roots when I did repot her and when she was in that the pebbles, they did die. So lesson learned. But anyways, she's doing really good otherwise. The very strong pseudobulbs, very nice and healthy. You know, a little bit of wrinkling on the older pseudobulbs, but that's to be expected as they are getting older. But the new pseudobulbs are nice and fleshy and healthy and firm. And like I said, I don't expect her to bloom for a couple of years because she is a relatively young plant. This is actually it's not as large as it should be for her to bloom, I don't believe. And anyone that has one, this is my first, so anyone that has one knows differently, you can let me know, but I'm pretty sure she has to be a little bit more established as a plant for her to actually bloom. Now, as far as my actual care for her, as you know, I grow in water culture or hydroponically, so my media is just these glass pebbles or beads. I do not grow in organic media. The Cattleyas I do grow in some type of media because they prefer to be able to grab onto something. I've learned over the years of growing hydroponically that Cattleyas don't enjoy being put in a pot with their roots just kind of hanging out. They really like their roots to grow into something. And so I came up with the solution of the glass beads, and all of my Cattleyas are doing really well. Many of them have matured to blooming size and have in fact bloomed. There's only a few that haven't bloomed, and for the most part they are generally very happy. So the way that I water my Cattleyas, including this plant, is once a week I fill the water all the way up to the top of the roots, and I let it sit for a couple of hours with the water. And then when, you know, that time has passed, there's two containers here. I take the inner container out, and there are holes in that container, and I drain off all the water. And there is some residual moisture in the container, but by the time I go to water her next week, she is dry. So she gets that wet-dry cycle that Cattleyas do enjoy. The temperatures in the grow room right now, it is July. Well, end of June, beginning of July. And it's been a little bit of a hot summer, and my air conditioner that I usually use in that room is not functioning properly. So it's actually been a little bit hotter in there than I want it to be, which some of my Cattleyas absolutely love. The Phalaenopsis don't love it so much, but some of my Cattleyas love it. So I have a Cattleya that has not bloomed for me for 4 years, and she's blooming. So there's a little bit of good and a little bit of bad with that. But generally my temperatures in there are usually low 70s at night, up to 80 degrees during the day. As far as light is concerned, she gets really, really as strong a light as I can give her. Unfortunately, I can't take you into the grow room right now to show you where she grows, because I am currently fostering several mother cats and kittens, and they've kind of taken over most of my house, including that room. And the kittens recognize the sound of my voice now, because I am also bottle feeding them to help the mamas, and they go crazy. They start yelling and screaming, and so I wouldn't really be able to do a video in there at this time. But if you watch any of my bloom update or orchid room tour videos, you can kind of see my setup and see where the Cattleyas grow. My Cattleyas grow right by the window, and it's a south-facing window. I do have a sheer curtain or two in between, just because it is such bright light, to try to cut down on it a little bit, because it's very, very hot, very strong light. But she grows right in the front of all of the Cattleyas. So there's a shelf full of Cattleyas, and she's in the front row. So she gets really, really good light. So that's really all I have for you. It's pretty happy, it seems. She is, as you can see, growing towards the light a little bit. She does have also a supplemental grow light above her, but orchids, I find, they prefer natural light, and they will grow towards the natural light if they sense that it is available. So that's what she's kind of doing. So that's my plan. I'm gonna soak her roots today, and I'm gonna try to lift her a little bit gently in the pot to try to give that new growth a chance to grow correctly. I did actually have my purple orchid, my purple Cattleya that I've showed you before. It did the wildest thing. It ran out of room in the pot, and the growth grew down into the pot and actually got buds inside the pot. I've never seen a Cattleya do that before. But yeah, so that's my Cattleya or Laelia purpurata variety striata. If you have any questions about my method, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I will also name and link all of the channels participating in my description of the video, so you can just click on the links and go right to everybody else's video. I do encourage you to check out those other videos. A lot of people that are joining actually have more mature plants, and they've actually been growing them longer, and so they'll have a lot of really good tips and information for you. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you for stopping by, and I will talk to you all next time.